This is Andy Comfort
on BBC Radio Humberside.
8 minutes past 5. A tax on sugary drinks comes into effect today, part of moves to try to tackle obesity. Now, a number of manufacturers have opted to change their products to avoid the levy, including Fanta, Ribena and Lucozade. Coca-Cola hasn't. The levy will add 18 pence onto the price of a soft drink, which contains more than 5 grams of sugar per 100 millilitres. The tax goes up to 24 pence per litre if the sugar content is over 8 grams. Professor Graham McGregory is the chair of Action on Sugar. He believes the tax is a step in the right direction, but could go further.
There's no point in shouting at people and telling them, don't eat this. What we need is to change the environment that makes it easier for people to eat less calories, and therefore they don't gain so much weight, so we can then crack this terrible crisis we've got with all our children becoming obese, adults becoming obese, developing strokes, heart attacks, cancer, and type 2 diabetes. So we've got a real crisis on our hand, and action's got to be taken. And if these measures don't work, then the government needs to take further action.
Chris Branfield is a dentist at the Castle Park Dental Care Centre in Cottingham. I asked him if this sugar tax could work.
I think it's going to help. I don't think it's going to sort it out altogether. The thing is, we've got an absolute global crisis going on with the consumption of sugar and obesity and diabetes and obviously from my point of view, increase in tooth decay. I mean, year on year, it's been out early this year in January, there's an increase in tooth decay and extractions in kids and young adults under 18.
And what do you put that down to? Is it purely sugary drinks and so forth?
Yeah, good look at this. Going right back to saying there's 3 things that cause tooth decay. You've got to have a tooth, a substrate. You've got to have some fermentable carbohydrate, and you've got to have some bacteria that use that fermentable carbohydrate, which is sugar. So it's form and frequency. It's how often you have the sugar, and also if the form of it, if it sticks to the teeth and hangs around for a long time, it's going to cause decay. So anything that's got a high sugar in, so fizzy drinks, look at a can of Coke, it's about 9 teaspoons of sugar in it, and it's all going to cause that. And I think personally, I think it's got a big impact on it.
How bad is it in this area then?
It's worse in Hull. I think I was on speaking quite a while ago. From 2017, a report came out, and in the 10 years previous, there'd been a 24% increase in child extractions in 0 to 4-year-olds. And in the whole area, I'm sure that's something like 23% higher than the national average.
So how much of this comes down to education then?
Everything, but it's not just education, it's implementation once you've been educated. It's the whole package. Just one story. My first job in the area was in 1993, 25 years ago, and I worked at Marmy Street Health Centre on Hesel Road. And we would have parents come in with the kids, and we'd go through one-to-one on dental health education and particularly diet. And go through toothbrushing, because the fluoride in the tooth, cleaning away the bacteria with the toothpaste, and then the fluoride helps against decay as well. And then the next time the kid came in for a review, the young sibling came, 2-year-old, clutching onto a bottle of Coca-Cola, sipping it. And it actually, it's right in front of us. So it's not just education, it's got to be implemented at the other end. So it's a responsibility of everybody. From parents especially. I think in today's society there's sort of this, it's always someone else's responsibility to do things. We've got a joint responsibility. Parents bringing up your kids. For me, if you've got a 0 to 4-year-old who's having to have a general anaesthetic to have teeth out, in some degree that's tantamount to neglect, which is no good. We've got politicians who are trying to do something, because at the minute nothing's happening, so nothing's changing. It's like Albert Einstein said, if you do the same thing over and over again, are you going to expect different results? So you've got to do something. And the thing is, for anything to change, there's got to be enough pain in your life to go somewhere else away from it. And if education, and you're not bothered about one thing, then perhaps hitting someone in the pocket might be that thing.
And certainly in schools, they're doing a lot of work on it. And in primary schools, you've got to have water bottles that are clear so you can see if they're putting juice in there. So it does come back a lot to what's happening at home, doesn't it? It comes back to the families, the parents.
Well, exactly, because it's not the kids that are buying it. The young kids don't get in the car and go off to the supermarket and buy the stuff and give them access to it. So ultimately, it is a parent's responsibility about the kids' diet, definitely.
And what about the manufacturers? What about people like Fanta, Ribena, Lucozade, the people who make these, Coca-Cola, all these people? What about their responsibilities?
Exactly, it's a joint responsibility. The thing is, the science is out there now. We know that the sugar is causing tooth decay. We know all the empty calories are causing obesity and all the hidden sugars in all the other foods, and it's addictive. We know that's out there, so there's a responsibility of manufacturers to know if they're causing harm to people. What are we going to do so we're not causing harm to people? I think it's massive, and there's a big onus on them and a big onus on society and politicians to put pressure on on industry and the manufacturers to do something about it. But everybody's got to take ownership because it's happening. Chris
Branfield, dentist at the Castle Park Dental Care Centre in Cottingham, his thoughts on the sugar tax which came in today.